Woodworks. Nobody makes a greater mistake by doing nothing because he could only do little. One of my favorite quotes of all times is, when you find yourself in a hole, stop digging. Pretty simple, right? Well, say that to the YouTube rabbit hole. I know we've all been down that rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole can go quite deep. I'm going to be pulling you out of that rabbit hole today. We're going to be building 3 different types of projects that pack a big ass profit. And you know how we got to do it. We're going to put spit on everything. Nice shot. We're starting today's video off with this awesome magazine holder / wall decor shelf deal. This project is so simple to make, but people love stuff like this. We're gonna switch up the joinery. They did a square butt joint. We're gonna do a mortise and tenon joint for ours. Let's go over what we need for this project. You need to get at least 5 foot of a 2x4, some wood glue, some finish, and a table saw with a mortise and tenon jig. You don't have to have a table saw. That's just what you're gonna need if you use the mortise and tenon joinery that I'll be using. You can easily make this with a simple circular saw if you wanna do the butt joint, or you can even do a 45-degree miter joint. Now the first thing we're gonna do is take our 2x4 and rip 2 of them at 1.5 inches. I'm gonna be making 1 out of the 2 that they have just for demonstration purposes. So I'll just need 4 cut at 12 inches. Now for our mortise layout, we'll just take the width of our 2x2 right here, and we'll just make a light line. That way we can set the depth of our saw blade right below this line. And then we can reference our other pieces off of this one piece without having to mark every single piece. Now that we got our depth found, we're going to go ahead and set our marking wheel to 3/8 of an inch and just scribe both sides. All right, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and get the height of our blade set right below that marking line. We'll take our mortise jig, and this thing's super simple to make, so I'm not going to bore you with making it. And we're going to clamp our pieces. We'll take our far side line right here and line it up with the outside of our carbide tip and lock this jig into place. Once we make our first cut, we'll take it out of the clamp, spin the piece around 180 and make the opposite cut. We'll do that to both sides of this piece and 1 more of our 2x2s. After we get all 4 of those cuts done, we'll then take and clean up the center of each mortise. Let me demonstrate. We'll be making 8 cuts with our jig set into place. Once we get all 8 of those cuts done, we'll then take and just shift the fence over until we get the center dadoed out completely. All right, here you are. All right, now that we've got all of our mortises cut, we're gonna go ahead and lay out for our tenons. The blade height is not gonna change whatsoever. We're gonna take our marking wheel and get our distance set on our marking wheel from the outside of the 2x2 to the first notch here. And then we'll take and scribe a light line on both sides of this piece. We'll make these 2 cuts on both of these pieces on both sides. For the remainder of the cuts for these 2 pieces, we got our miter sled, and I got the stop block set right at the end of each cut we just made. I just need to set the heights right below that cut we made, and we'll take and get each side cut off. Now, I could have very easily taken and cutting these mortise and tenons at the bandsaw, but the majority of my viewers just don't have bandsaws at hand. So I figured I'd show y'all on the table saw. Let's go ahead and get this bad boy fastened together. And we'll add a dab of glue. And we'll grab a couple of clamps. All right, just double check for square. We'll let this dry up and I'll meet you back here. All right, our project is now dry. Just take it out of the clamps and we're gonna clean up these mortise and tenons at the belt sander, get them nice and flush. So I'll meet you over there. All right, now that we got that all sanded down, I'm gonna take and beat the hell out of this thing. That's what I love about these rustic projects. Just beat it up, make it look weathered and old, put some holes in it. Don't be gentle. And I've got this 1/8 inch drill bit. We'll just pop a couple holes in it randomly, just wherever. It doesn't have to be anywhere specific. Just have fun with it. These are the type of projects you can go crazy on. I love these type of projects. We'll flip it up, put some on the side. Just beat the hell out of this thing. Get some of that aggression out, you know what I mean? All right, now we'll go ahead and slap some of our finish on it. So we'll just take and make a little stain pad. And I've got some of this special walnut stain left over from this project that I built the other day. And I'll link a video to this project in case you missed it, somewhere right here. Check it out. Watch this thing come to life. We'll let this first coat dry and come back and slap a second on it. And then I'll show you how we're gonna mount it. So what I'm gonna wind up doing is making these in a set of 3 at 50 bucks for the 3 of them. A set of 3 for 50 bucks at the local markets. People love this. Just make sure at your local market you can have a faux wall set up and have them hanging and demonstrating what they're gonna look like in the home. People go crazy for this rustic stuff. So as far as the mounting, I would just do 2 key slots in one side of it. And then what you'll want to do is take some blue tape and lay it across your key slots and just circle where those key slots start. That way you can take that piece of blue tape to your wall, find a stud for one of the key slots, and then make sure you use a sheetrock anchor for your next screw. That's one down. Let's move on to our next project. For our next project, we're gonna be building a poopy stoop or step stool. It's gonna be simple. You can build it with limited tools and you only need 3 feet worth of a 2x8, which is approximately $3.80. Let's go ahead and get started at the miter box. We're gonna make ours 14 inches in length. And we'll cut 2 more at 8 inches in length. All right, now let's take our pieces over to our table saw and I'll show you what we're gonna do with our 2 pieces that we cut at 8 inches. Well, it would be helpful if I could find my pencil. Comment in the comment section and let me know, how often do y'all lose y'all's pencils? And be honest about it. Alright, so we're going to take from the bottom and pull over 2 1/4 from both sides. Now from the bottom, pull up 5 inches. At that 5-inch mark, you want to find center of your 2x8. This is 7 1/4, so it's going to be 3 5/8 at center. Now just take your marks at the bottom and line them up with that center mark you just made. And scribe that line. We're going to cut this center out on both of these pieces. Meet me over at the bandsaw. So upon further review, I think I'm going to take 1 inch off of both of my legs as far as the width goes. So we'll cut a 1/2 inch off of this side and then a 1/2 inch off of this side. And as far as the height, I'm going to cut 1 inch off of the bottoms. I like that much better. Now for our joinery, we're going to be using some pocket hole screws from the bottom back sides. Our stock is 1.5 inches, so we'll just get our jig set up for 1.5 inches. And I'm going to be using these 2.5 inch pocket hole screws. Now for the placement of my actual legs, I'm going to be coming in from the left and right side 2 inches. We'll add a dab of glue. And we'll make sure we have equal spacing at 3/4 from either side. I wound up changing the distance from each edge to 1 inch. It was a little unsturdy at 2 inches, so lesson learned. Now we're going to beat this thing up a little bit, slap some finish on it, and carry on to the next project. I'm just beating it up. I'll speed this up so I can get on to the next project. Oh yeah, that's nice and sturdy. Sweet. So, as far as cost goes, you're looking at about $5, if that, to build this. I see these going online, these simple step stools, just like this, anywhere from 25 upwards of 35. I'd feel comfortable right around 25. And they sell super well in the rustic niche. Now, let's move on to our final project for this video. Our final project for this video is one of the most sellable and marketable projects, and that is this wall hanger. You can sell these individually, or you can sell them in a set of 3, 4, 5, sell them as a pair. Choice is up to you. You can make these out of softwood, hardwood, exotic woods, any kind of wood that you like. I'm going to be making them out of a piece of cherry. I've got this piece of 8/4 that is already milled down. I just need to get it ripped down to 4 inches. Now let's take this to the bandsaw and get it resawn. All right, now we're gonna go ahead and get these things laid out for our notch. For our top cut, we're gonna make that a 30-degree angle. From the long point of our 30-degree angle, we're gonna pull down 5.5 inches, and we're gonna cut a parallelogram to this angle. So that'll be long to short, 5.5. I'm going to be making one of these just for the demonstration purposes of this video. So from our top angle, and pull down from our angle 1 inch, and we'll follow that 30-degree angle and square that line back almost all the way, but stop about 1 inch shy of all the way. And we're going to leave in 1 inch on the back of this piece. Your layouts should start to take shape like this. Now from our bottom here, we're going to be pulling up 1 inch from this angle. Just make a light scribe line. And we'll keep that 30-degree angle for this one as well. Now, what we're going to do is take our speed square and set it right on top of our angle, just like so, and move it over to where you're at your intersecting lines right here. And then we're going to take and scribe that line. And we'll just finish this line to that. Right there. And this will be what comes out. Now let's head over to our drill press, and we're going to drill a hole right here and then one on this corner. Then we'll finish cutting them out with the bandsaw. We're going to be using a 1/2 inch drill bit, and what you want to do is get that drill bit right up to this corner and go ahead and drill these holes. Sorry about the noisy rain, folks. Now we'll just take and get this clamped into a vise and take our round rasp. This is a wooden rasp. And just clean up the corners that we just cut. We'll take our flat rasp and get the flat parts cleaned up as best we can. Now let's head over to our router table, and we're going to get 2 key slots cut on the back of these to hang it. So the height of my key slot is set at 3/8 of an inch, and you want to make sure that you're routing it the right way. That way when you put it on the wall, it sets down into the slots. We're going to put 2 key slots, and I've made some marks on my fence where I need to start and stop for each one, and they're going to be 3/4 of an inch in length. Once you get to that 3/4 mark, just pull back, up, and you're out of there. And there's your 2 key slots. Now with these 3 projects, you're looking at a potential of $15,000 extra a year marketing and selling these rustic projects. Make for beginners, if you're just getting started off looking to make some profit to get some new tools, these things are hot sellers. This one I see go online for $10 a pop. That's pretty crazy. So a set of 5 of these, you're looking at $50, and this is about $1.50 worth of wood. So whether it's the poopy stoop, the magazine holder, or the wall hanger, these 3 projects are perfect for any skill level woodworker to make a good profit. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you're looking to join a Facebook group of woodworkers, I have a link in the description where you can request to join today. Also, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing this content into this channel. Until next time, get in your shop and make some sawdust. Sconce.